Hello, hello. I've had a lot of you guys ask me more in depth on my experience with binging and tips that I can offer. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about headspace as I'm building this piece of furniture I bought off of Amazon. It's like a really shitty island thing. It's got a lovely little wobble to it because it's got those like 90-degree screws, whatever. But today I'm going to talk about resent and the concept of feeling like you need to be in control in relation to binging, relationship with food in general. And of course, I already put in some of the wrong screws because it's 3.5 versus 3 millimeters or whatever. We love building shit at home. You know, I'm very happy being alone and being single, and I think it's going to take a very, very, very special person to take me out of my piece that I've built. But I will say, building furniture at home, car stuff, really opens my mind to the idea of potentially having a relationship. Anyway, I'm just teasing. I don't even own a kitchen table. This is the longest I've lived in a place since college. I was an RA in college, and you know, the whole mom experience, I just was back and forth all the time. And I'm coming up on a year living here, and I still don't own a kitchen table, so I'm starting to slowly get some nice things and actually make this a home and, you know, let myself actually enjoy that experience. Moving to Florida in and of itself was a really tough experience, and, you know, I had to make a lot of sacrifices, so it's cool being able to now afford a kitchen table and some shitty Amazon furniture. I'm pretty minimalist, and I have a lot of fear around not being able to afford things, so yeah. So while I've been in this sustained deficit, resent has been something that has come up significantly. And when I have these moments that I feel out of control, and I kind of understand why, like, you know, something's not going my way or things are going unexpectedly, and like I can feel the anxiety build up. It's like the energy builds up into my chest, and I get so flustered. And again, a lot of this is rooted in resent, right? Like it'll bring up childhood stuff, etc. So for me, I started binging after I took care of my mom when I was 20. I left behind my jobs, I left behind school, and multiple jobs. I was a trainer at a couple studios at the time. Left school behind. Luckily, because of COVID, they were still allowing classes online, and so I was able to still, you know, get my classes in. But I had to leave everything behind at the age of 20 while my friends are getting pissed drunk and enjoying COVID and getting to see each other, and I'm in this isolated environment. And it was really tough. I was, you know, a caregiver for my mom, and it really took a toll on me being 20 and trying to understand the world for the first time and feeling like it was so cruel. And like, why can't I just be normal? Why can't I, you know, relate to all these other people? And it changes your perspective on life. And again, when you're at that young age and you're fresh into this world as an adult, and something like that happens, and you don't really get to have that fun 20s experience because you get a little older, you know what I mean? I had a lot of resent. It still impacts me. Like I still get these frustrations, and I find myself holding this resent for some of the ways that I have been treated in the past. And again, so coming back to, you know, taking care of my mom and my binging experience, I started binging to cope. I didn't understand how to cope with these emotions, and I felt really alone and isolated again because I'm not relating to these people around me. Like I just felt so alone. And so how I responded was I made myself as busy as possible. And, you know, I also had to go back to my jobs and work by the time my mom was okay. So I was working full-time, I was in school full-time, and it's like 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., class, no breaks, or even 1 p.m. depending on the day. And then I would immediately go to work, and I would work until the night, and then if I had time, I'd squeeze in as much homework as I could and studying. and I would fall into these cycles of binging at the end of the day. So lots of things going on, right? We have the emotional side, we have the planning side. You know, if I didn't get food during the day, and I'm also avoiding all of these emotions, by the time I get back, one, my body's trying to catch up on, you know, eating. It needs to fuel me. I just did this whole long day. So much mental fatigue, so much physical fatigue. I was training like hour to hour. I was person, you know? And so yeah, my body's gonna wanna eat that food. And then on top of that, the emotional side, then it would become, oh my gosh, I feel out of control. How did I just eat this much? Now we're bringing into play shame and resent, right? Because it starts bringing up everything, and that brain just cycles and cycles and cycles. So it's taken me a lot of time to understand my relationship with some of these emotions in these early adulthood and childhood experiences. And if you really want to stop binging, it's about changing how you look at things, changing your habits, and it's hard. You really have to let go. And I know there's tons of quotes about resent and how it actually just really hurts you at the end of the day when you hold that resent for somebody. It's true. You hold on to these emotions and you feel stuck. And that feeling of being stuck makes you want to take control. And again, it's just so easy for food to be that way to cope. It's tough. Like if you feel like you don't have a safe space to express your emotions, good chance you struggle with binging. Like that shame, that resent, dude, it's so fucking hard. But another thing I've learned is when my brain wants to kind of have a little bit of a victim complex, again, when I'm hyper fixating on the way that somebody might have wronged me and how that might have affected me and how I feel out of control and I don't feel deeply rooted in who I am, I'm kind of surrendering control to that experience, and it provides a little bit of peace. It's not the worst way to cope with some of these traumas and emotions, but you know, some of us want to make some changes to that. And so hopefully, you know, the people who are looking for some guidance in that, I'm hoping, you know, this at least makes you feel a little less alone, because it is hard. It's taken me years to develop the discipline and the mental clarity and the rooting in myself and who I am to be able to move through this experience. Like, it's been a journey. And it's a lot of work, and that's why I always advocate for having a coach and somebody who you can just be like, hey, yeah, this is what I did. You know, I went off plan, and them respond in a way that supports your overall well-being. At times in my journey, I need somebody who's going to give me a no bullshit response and keep me accountable, like right now. In the past, I couldn't do that. I needed somebody who was going to give me a little bit of understanding and make me not feel shame. Like sometimes you just need to be seen for that struggle. Just to be seen and recognize that, you know, you're real, you're a person, you have these validated feelings. It can be very powerful. And that's also why it's important to go to a specialist if you know, get to the point that you feel that out of control. And that's okay. It's okay to need help. It's okay to work through some of these not normal experiences. You know, what the fuck even is normal? I don't give a fuck, all right? Something I try to be very intentional about is just being goofy and showing up as myself and not taking things so seriously, because you don't have to be perfect all of the time. You don't. Life's about experiencing and being as present as possible. So the more that you can release the past and forgive yourself for these intangible concepts of what you think the future should be, you get to live. You get to live. I feel like I've lost so much time in my life because of so much fixation on the past and so much fixation on the future and what I want to be and why I'm not there yet and how I'm not perfect and yeah, you get the point. If you're struggling with binging, I would say listen to how you talk to yourself, and if you're willing to journal, I would journal it. It is worth the time. It speeds up the whole process. You start learning and forgiving and releasing shame and resent a whole lot quicker. But talking to somebody is huge. Having a coach or people in your corner just to be on your side and your team. Giving yourself space to experience your emotions and finding good quality coping mechanisms so you don't push yourself to the point that you feel like you're out of control and you need to establish control. Like putting into my routine times that I'm stretching, or I do gua sha now. That's something I've been doing. I feel really good doing that. Just being present while you're cleaning yourself in the shower or in the bathtub. Maybe it's meditating, maybe it's going for a walk. Like, it's all just about finding what works for you so you know that you have those moments to just be. That habit really just does impact everything. When you stop seeking the validation of others in, who you are, and you can really find what roots you and who you are and your essence and your authenticity, you'll find happiness. And it's normal for those moments to come up when you're just like wanting this validation from a love interest, your gym crush, a friend, your parent, whatever. It's easy to fall back into those cycles. And what I have found is it brings me back to those old coping strategies. So just being mindful of that and recognizing when that anxiety wants to brew up has been really helpful in helping me just keep my peace. Peace is very underrated, and it's whatever it means to you. But this bodybuilding lifestyle has been very beneficial for me. It can be an isolating experience, and that's what I want to work on long term is, again, it's releasing some of these shame points when I'm being imperfect or when I mess up my whole schedule and things get thrown off, and just realizing that, I'm doing okay. I'm not falling behind on everything. Everything's not going wrong. It's a new day. You just get in what you can. You give yourself grace for what you can't accomplish just yet, and you just keep pushing forward. You gotta stay rooted in who you are. I fucking hate this build it thing. No, for real. I need a little handyman in my life. And a little kiss on the forehead. God damn it. I don't even know how long this video is. I'm just talking. I just saw all these comments about how you guys kind of wanted to hear more about it. And I can go into more specifics of just some stuff that's helped me. So if you find that the emotional side of things and kind of talking about that is helpful, I'll actually sit down and kind of break things down. I'm a nerd. I'll put it on a whiteboard and create a little guide of something to help. I know with food types and stuff, that's another thing on people's mind, but I really think with binging, the deepest root is the emotional root. And it's the hard truth, and it's the hard and the fucking dirty work, but it will make you feel happy and it will impact every aspect of your life. If you're seeking help, don't be afraid to seek help. You can talk to somebody. I really recommend it, whether it's a counselor or somebody who specializes with binging, or even a coach. Coaches are always good in guiding you in the fitness stuff and, helping you kind of have a sense of direction and a plan and make sure you're fueling yourself appropriately. But yeah, let me know if there's anything you guys want to see in particular or any questions I can answer. Otherwise, I'll see you on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I appreciate all the support always. We got 2.5 weeks left till this show, so surviving.